Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is. I'm almost at a loss for words because this is a truly, truly sad day in the world of American politics, and It's incredibly frustrating, and I will get. I will give you some details. I'm sorry. This is very difficult for me. Very, very difficult. I'll give you some details after the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. Okay. Please, just stop the music. So, like I said, it's a very frustrating day for me, and I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do about this. It's it's just one of those days where you go, how could this happen? Now, I'm sorry. I'm sure you're wondering what I'm talking about. I need to give you some details. And Pete, yes, I will have some of the funk going, but I need to get through this. And it's like I said, it's a very difficult time for me. It's going to be a very difficult time for the nation. It's one of those things that everyone can get on board and feel really, really sad about because, I don't know. I just truly believe that the nation could have been so much better. And hopefully, as we get through this election season and stuff, we will find that the eventual winner, be it President Trump or one of the other candidates for president, can bring the nation together after this, because this is breaking hearts all over the nation. And I know you're wondering what I'm talking about. So first of all, do me a favor. I have a quiz for you for the people who are here. And I know that we're not all here, that everyone who wants to be here is not here yet. But I think that I think we can, for those of you who are here, I think we'll be able to figure it out. Okay. Do me a favor. For those of you here, by the way, Sarah's got to go. I'm sorry that Sarah has to go. Maddie, good morning. Rolling Bear, Duck Dog. Oh, Maddie, Sarah and Maddie, I'm going to give you both the bell because Sarah had to leave. So she gets a bell, but Maddie is the first one here who can actually be here today. So I'm going to give you a bell too, Maddie. Thank you so much. Duck Dog, RVA, Pete, Tyler F. McCalla, thank you for being here already. And those of you who are strolling in, maybe you can, I'm going to give you a little quiz because this is very important. And it's, like I said, it's a very sad day for the nation. It truly is. Now, quick question. Now this isn't good. Did my stream go down? Excellent connection, or is it just my monitor here? Okay, looks like it's just my monitor. Anyway, I have a quiz for you, and I want everyone who's here, please give me your very, very best answer for this because it's an important quiz. I'm going to put a picture on the screen. All I want you to do is tell me who it is. I'm going to put a picture on the screen, and you have to tell me who it is. It's the person in my thumbnail for this stream. And so if you know who this is, type it in the chat, or just take a guess. If you don't know, at least take a guess. But it's very important to me, okay? Here we go. All right. It's very important. Here it is. Here's the picture. Here it comes. And I'm going to give you a time because I know there's a little bit of delay between me seeing what you write and what you type and so on. So I'll give you a moment. But please tell me who this person is that is in the thumbnail of my stream, because it's very important to the nation that you know who this is. This is very important. All right, please. Okay, so the picture's up there. I'm going to give you a few minutes. I'll give you a little Jeopardy theme. Da 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 da. Ba da 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 da. Dum ba dum bum 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 boom. Okay, now, I think you got it. If you know, please just everyone, please venture a guess. This is chat participation time. If you know who that is, just put a name up there. Who you think it is? Mondale. Okay, I'll ring whoever gets it. I will ring the bell for you. You'll get a bell if you put the right name up there. I'm waiting. No clue. Mondale. Joe. Joe Mama. No idea. Anyone else? If you're just coming in, everyone's guessing who this person is on my screen. It's heartbreaking. It is absolutely heartbreaking what's going on right now. And I just want to. I'm okay. I know all of you are searching, but all right. I'm going to tell you. Hang on. Let me get rid of this. It's very sad. Ladies and gentlemen, John Hickenlooper's presidential campaign is over. Can he flip a Senate seat and said, "Oh my God, John Hickenlooper is leaving the race for president." Come on, man. Another passenger is aboard the SS Winnow. On Thursday, former Colorado Governor John Hickenlooper announced he was dropping out of the race for president. I just can't take it. Oh my God. Oh, this is so sad. It's a sad day. Many of the problems we identified with Hickenlooper's campaign when he first entered the race ended up coming true. He lacked a geographic or demographic base. He proved to be unable to stand out from the flashier field of candidates. Despite hopes that he would make some noises in the debates, he didn't make a positive impression. In the first, and spoke less than any other candidate. In the second, well, because nobody asked him any questions. The result, Hickenlooper never found his footing among actual voters. When he dropped out of the race, a majority of Democrats, 56%, still did not have an opinion of him, according to a 538 average of August polls. I'm sorry, I just had to gather myself. But even if Hickenlooper had more successfully gotten his name out there, he just wasn't what the voters were looking for. Even in Colorado, where he is well known and well liked among Democrats, Hickenlooper received just 7% of the vote in a public policy polling survey of the presidential primary. Nationally, he wound up exceeding, he never wound up exceeding 2% in any poll. I'm very sad. John, this is a sad day for the nation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is one saving grace to this story. One saving grace. And that is... where is it? I had it ready. Here's the saving grace, that John Hickenlooper's no longer in the race. Beto O'Rourke has announced that he's continuing. Good old Beto. This is from Reason.com. Beto's reboot. So you're saying there's still a chance? Oh, man. I would not be able to handle it if he had left the race too. I mean, come on, man. If anything, Beto's entertaining. Former media darling halted his long poll slide after the El Paso shooting by blaming it on Trump. Oh, that's how you get yourself up in the Democratic poll. attack President Trump. And now he's hoping Democrats forget his past centrism. His past what's centrism? Was Beto formerly a centrist? You know what? This calls for a little funk. Because I just can't do this without the funk. Let's get a little tunes going here, and let's get into the news. Okay, I'm serious now. Nobody gives a rat's ass that John Hickenlooper left the race. Nobody knows who the hell he is. I mean, it's silly. Okay, it's silly that John Hickenlooper even had that much traction. It's fine. I don't expect people who run for president not to have an ego. You have to have somewhat of a big ego to think that you should be the choice for president. I just don't know how John Hickenlooper thought that he might be the one, especially considering he had almost no name recognition outside of Colorado, and apparently not that much inside Colorado either, even though he used to be the governor. But anyway, I don't think John Hickenlooper was a bad man. I think he was just too centrist for what the Democrats are looking for in this particular next race. And that's because right now the stars of the party are the squad. Okay, everyone, at least they think they are, and the what's that? CBP calls them the Mockingbird media. The guys who just the people who just constantly repeat Democratic talking points and things like that. And don't get me wrong, I know that Fox News repeats the Republican talking points too, but Fox News is one out of many. Yes, Fox News has the largest audience, but combine the audience for everybody else, and those people all say the same shit. Anyway, all right, so let's get back to Beto. He made a speech the other day. I told you he was going to make a speech, and he did. It is both easy and enjoyable to make fun of Beto O'Rourke flagging presidential campaign for the Democratic nomination, which the former Vanity Fair cover boy attempted to reboot this morning in his grief-stricken hometown of El Paso with a passionate speech that was delivered. His spokespeople helpfully inform us without a teleprompter or prepared remarks. Previewing the pivot with a mouthful of mirth last night was Fox Business Network's Kennedy. And let's see what Kennedy said about Beto, because this is actually pretty funny.
Beto O'Rourke is resetting his failing campaign. Again. The shaky Penguins fundraising and poll numbers have joined hands and jumped off a cliff because he has personally and politically fizzled as voters learn to dislike him more and more. Beto seemed like a once-in-a-generation phenom, coming within a pig's whisker of beating the perennially unlikable Ted Cruz and last year's scintillating Senate race. Money and celebrity endorsements poured in. But instead of being a meaty manwich, Beto turned out to be Texas tofu. He just sort of absorbed the adoration and fooled people into thinking he was deep and authentic. But Ted Cruz is still a senator, and Beto is once again dusting off the reset button as if a new flavor of hyperbole will make him any more palatable. Beto took a few months off after his Senate loss to
eat dirt.
Annoying and self-indulgent, crisscrossing the country like an empty tick, posing for the cover of Vanity Fair, jumping the gun with a dumb declaration, "I was born to be in it." What? Last place? He's the Pontiac Aztec of presidential candidates, and Mayor Pete rolled up in his nifty gay Tesla, stole Beto's...
Hold up. Oh my God. The Pontiac Aztec of presidential candidates. That is so cold. So cold.
He became absolutely obsolete. In his desperation for traction, he's jumped on a table, live-streamed his personal grooming errands, subjected his long-suffering staff to airport push-ups, called the president a Nazi, stole everyone else's communistic ideas, and blathered out talking points like a moldy t-shirt cannon. None of it has worked. The New Republic declared his profound emptiness, and Politico noted his long history of failing upward.
This is brutal. They're fighting for dominance in the stream. Oh, maybe I'll mute the funk. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I probably should turn that down. I forgot I had it on. Hang on. Mute the funk. Yes, we'll pause the funk. Let's do that. Okay, let's...
Only adoring outlet left is the Houston Chronicle. Aww. And though they want him to remain in the national spotlight, it is to drop out of the presidential race.
Yeah, they asked him to drop
take on
out.
John Cornyn in yet another failed Senate bid. As the hyperbole circus winds down,
we read that one the
it's
other
time for
day.
this bearded lady to take a powder, and even Beto knows it. There is nothing sadder than a narcissist who's fallen out of love with himself, except one who hangs on way after the moment has passed. Rest in peace, Beto. And that's the memo.
All right, so that's Kennedy's take on it. So, but O'Rourke, who in his remarks ruled out another Senate run, even as John Hickenlooper, while announcing today his withdrawal from the 2020 Democratic presidential race, suggested he might take a shot at Colorado Republican Cory Gardner, should not be counted out just yet. Yes, he's been stuck in sixth place since spring and polling nationally all summer around 3%, but it's worth remembering that at this time, in the 2008 primary season, political journalists and snarky commentators were preparing their orbits for the then fourth place Republican, a cat named John McCain, who I lose a little more respect for every single day. Respect his service, but goddamn, John McCain was a terrible human being. Oh, by the way, I'm going to give you a list of names to think about or learn about, if you don't already know about them, that are going to be coming up in the news very soon. Come September, I bet, when John Durham's report comes out and the Inspector General report comes out, there's a few names that if you want to piss off your liberal friends, mention these names and see if they know who they are now, and then go back and ask them in September or at the end of September, say, if they know any of these names now. Or just tell them to look them up. I'll tell you that in a minute. Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, McCain came from fourth place this time of the race and ended up being the nominee, but I'm going to guess that Beto's not going to do that. That ain't going to happen. He's you know, what's funny about all this, too. So, and I don't even know who said it today. I heard this and I thought, hey, this is prophetic, okay? So, with President Trump, and let's take Beto O'Rourke as a good example, because Beto O'Rourke's now, every day Beto O'Rourke talks about how Trump is a racist, and Trump is a white nationalist, and Trump is a white supremacist, and then probably next thing Beto's going to be saying is that Trump is a Nazi, and everyone who follows him is started out as deplorable, then they were racist, then they were this, then they were white nationalists, then they were white supremacists, and then they were Nazis. Okay, so let me ask you this: is there anything that you can get to that's past Nazi? Is there anything like on a scale of all those bad things? They've been ramping it up. They started out with with Hillary Clinton calling them Trump supporters deplorables, right? They started out with that, and then they've been racist has always kind of been there, and then they've kind of added the white nationalists, so white supremacists. That's a really bad one. I wouldn't want to be called a white supremacist. Do you realize that I've been called a white supremacist on Twitter before? And I laughed at him. I was like, you might want to take a second look at the picture. But anyway, and then white supremacist, and then Nazi. Nazi's like the worst thing you can call them. So, do you think the American public is going to become numb to that? And now that they've got to their peak, right? They've gotten to their peak. So you call someone a Nazi, it's like, what else you got, bitch? That's all I can say. Anyway, it's funny because they're talking about how Kamala Harris has risen and fallen and whatnot. So anyway, Hickenlooper out, Beto in. Yay! Oh, yay! Oh. But it is a sad day for America. Pedophiles are worse than Nazis. Yeah, the problem, Pete, there you go. The question, pedophiles. Yeah, pedophile would be worse if you couldn't tie so many Democrats to pedophiles, I mean, let's just start with the Wonder Boy himself. Now, the dead Wonder Boy, Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, he's clearly tied to way more Democrats than he is Republicans. Yes, Trump rode on one of his tiny planes once from Miami to New York, and they have some pictures of him from the 90s hanging out with Epstein. But anyone in Miami, any wealthy person in Miami probably hung out with Epstein back in the day. But named in documents, George Mitchell. George Mitchell was almost going to be a Supreme Court justice if Bill Clinton would have had his way, right? Right? Turn the music down here. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I did. I turned it off. Here, I'm gonna fix this music thing. Here, okay, let's try this. I'm sorry. I turn it down. Hopefully that'll be better. And then I can, hopefully anything I play over it will play over the music. I don't need it up that loud. I just like to have a little background ambiance. But anyway, but yeah, George Mitchell, Bill Richardson, the governor of New Mexico, Bill Clinton, former United States President Bill Clinton, and then all kinds of celebrities, and I don't know if Prince Andrew's left or right. I don't really care, but just, they probably more left than right. Right? Right? Am I right? I don't know. All right. So anyway, the biggest news of yesterday in particular, we talked about it yesterday, but now you're starting to get the fall blowout. What is it? Blowback. So, yesterday I mentioned during the show, I think, that Israel was going to allow Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar into the country. But then later during the day, they announced that they were no longer going to let them in. By the way, I'm sorry. Some other people showed up. Good morning, Tyler. Tyler F. RVA, I think I said hi to you already, but I'm going to say hi again. Yes, I did. Okay. Maniac Man, Deck Tran, MC, Hammer Time, and Cynical Lindsay, how you doing? X-Bubba Hotep, Duck Dog, you were already here, Duck Dog. All right, I think I've caught everybody. If I haven't, just put a hi in the chat and I'll say hello to you too. Okay, so Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar, they have been the state of Israel. Netanyahu said, we're not going to let you into Israel now. Okay. And so people are not happy. Particularly Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. But, in fact, I'm surprised it's not trending on Twitter. I'm looking here on Twitter and nothing here is on here. No new. Here's some breaking news. Okay. The Israeli Interior Minister said he received and granted a humanitarian request for Rashida Tlaib to enter the West Bank. Fascinating. That is breaking news as of probably an hour ago, it looks like. Here's just real quick. It's on Twitter here. Israel's Interior Minister said he has granted a humanitarian request by Tlaib to visit her grandmother in the Israeli-occupied West Bank. Now, oh my gosh, who wrote this? The Israeli-occupied West Bank? No. The West Bank is under full control of the Palestinian Authority, and it is not Israeli-occupied. That's really weird that they wrote it that way. Wow. That's weird. This comes a day after Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister Tzipi Hodavel confirmed that U.S. Democratic Congresswoman Tlaib and Ilhan Omar have been barred from entering the country. Now, it's really weird because, interesting. This is the New York Times update. Israel not allow two Democratic Congresswomen to the West Bank. President Trump's. Okay, yeah, they're blaming this on President Trump. Okay, there's a reason they have been banned, and it's not necessarily President Trump. You know they're going to spin it anyway. Oh, I know that, Maddie. There's a reason, though. Israel has been denying entry to people that they know have supported the BDS movement, the boycott, sanction, and what's the S part? Oh, boycott, divestment, sanctions movement. They're people trying to basically destroy Israel through economic whatever. And so that has been a blanket policy that they've been following for a while. If they know that you're a member of that movement, then you have been banned from the country. Well, apparently Netanyahu found that out. That's the first part. And then the second one, let me see if I can show you something that's really fascinating to me. Let's see, Omar, let's go itinerary. Here we go. Look at this. Now, when they put up their itinerary for going to Israel on their tentative agenda here, now it's hard to see in this picture. It's probably easier to see this way. U.S. congressional delegation to Palestine. They changed the... Now remember, they're going to where? They're going to Israel, not Palestine. But they put Palestine. That's an insult to the Israeli government to say that they're going to Palestine. Also, the West Bank is not... That really kind of annoys me that they actually wrote that way. To the Israeli-occupied West Bank. The West Bank is not occupied by Israel. It's considered a sovereign part of the Palestinian... the two Palestinian areas, the West Bank and the Gaza. So that's really fascinating. That's kind of how they spun that. Anyway, Talia's now saying isn't going to go, even though she's allowed. Yeah, she can't make hay if she's allowed. She can't make hay with it if she's allowed to go. And I honestly, I don't know. It's weird. Now, I know people who have gone to Gaza. A relative of mine who is just way out there on the left and calls Israel an occupying force and whatnot. And she's been to Gaza to visit friends there that she's made through the internet. And she, you know what? She had no problem. I was kind of surprised. I was really nervous about this because you don't know how they're going to treat Americans there. But apparently if you're an ally to their cause, then they treat you fine, which is not unusual in the world. But I still, man, I not excited about having any American go there. But anyway, so I think that's part of the reason, though. So these people, these two Congress people, they clearly support the BDS movement. Not good if you want to go to Israel. And they changed their agenda to read that you're going to Palestine. Probably not a good way to stick a stick in someone's eye and then expect them to invite you in the house. Okay. So people, the left is completely up in arms about this. We'll talk about it a little more as we get into Twitter trends later. All right, moving on. Let's see. But actually, we're going to talk a little bit more about it now because I have a few articles related to this. So the first one, now in the American Thinker, we had an interesting article here. Tlaib and Omar ineligible to hold public office in America. Now, I don't know what that means. So I'm going to read. I just caught my eye and I didn't read it. We're going to read it now. Congressional Representative Rashida Tlaib and Congressional Representative Ilhan Omar are ineligible to serve as congressional representatives according to American law, but they enjoy the support of every member of Congress from both sides of the aisle. No one may hold any public office in America who does not honestly and without reservation swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. That is the law, which is being ignored by virtually everyone in authority in every branch of the government. Tlaib and Omar openly oppose the Constitution. The evidence of their opposition is made clear by their support and defense of Sharia, which is Islamic law. Now I don't know I'm not 100%. I guess I'm going to give you the allegedly. And you may know more than I do. I don't know. But I'm going to say allegedly. They're evident, by their support and defense of Sharia, which is Islamic law that is in almost every aspect is diametrically opposed to constitutional law. It's simply not possible to simultaneously support and defend the Constitution and Sharia, since the two are completely opposed to one another. Tlaib and Omar did swear to support and defend the Constitution, but they committed perjury in doing so. Now, I'm not 100% sure that this is, but anyway. And their allegiance is to Sharia. Okay, well, they both also support Islamic groups aligned with the Muslim Brotherhood, which has declared war against America and declared the United States as an enemy state. Now, they have done that in a sense. I don't know about all this. This is, I'm not going to read any more of this. That's an opinion piece that I don't know. Good point, Maddie. Grain of salt. I'm going to give you a full shaker of salt. Not necessarily a giant horse-sized salt lick, but I'm going to give you the whole shaker of salt on this. I think both of them have, even though I don't agree with them on just about anything, they both, at least publicly, have made it clear that they are they're going through the right channels to do what they want to do. And so I don't know. All right. Anyway, moving on. The second one, though, let's see. Pelosi says the Israel's decision to bar Omar and Tlaib a sign of weakness beneath the dignity of the Jewish state. Really? You know what? It's funny. Let me find a scenario here. If the United States, for example, what's a good example here? I don't know a good example. Anyway, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is weighing in on Israel's decision not to allow Representatives Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib to enter Israel, calling it a sign of weakness. Israel's denial of entry to Congresswomen Tlaib and Omar is a sign of weakness and beneath the dignity of the great state of Israel, Pelosi said in a statement. Pelosi also slammed President Trump for a tweet encouraging Israel to prevent the entrance of the women who plan to travel through the Jewish state in order to reach their destination on the West Bank and Gaza Strip in East Jerusalem, where the Palestinian population lives. Okay, maybe that somewhat explains their the thing with the agenda. I thought this was a congressional delegation to Israel, and in fact, I'm almost positive that it was. I didn't think it was just them going. Anyway, the lawmakers have made anti-Semitic remarks about Israel, the United States' relationship with Israel, and have also expressed support for the boycott, divestment, and sanction BDS movement, like I said, to levy financial pressure on Israel for alleged mistreatment of the Palestinian people. And that's why the Jewish state is not letting them in, is my understanding. Omar introduced a resolution in the House in support of boycotting Israel, and Tlaib is a Palestinian whose family immigrated to the United States from East Jerusalem. Omar and Tlaib are the first Muslim women to be elected to Congress. If you so you have a resolution, you introduce a resolution in the House to boycott Israel, and then you want to go to Israel. I'm sorry. It makes no sense. Anyway, moving on. And then Ted Lieu jumped into it. Everyone's favorite California Congressman, Ted Lieu. But he made this little mistake here that will automatically get you labeled as an anti-Semite. Lieu accuses Jewish ambassador of dual loyalty. Oh, good Lord. Now, there's an update to this already, and I already had a different article pulled up for this. Representative Ted Lieu of California accused the United States ambassador to Israel, David Friedman, of having a foreign allegiance in a tweet Thursday and shortly repeated the claim on CNN. His allegiance, again, is to America, not to a foreign power, Liu said in an interview with CNN's Wolf Blister. He is a blister on the... Anyway. In his tweet, Liu suggested Friedman, who is an Orthodox Jew, was expressing loyalty to Israel in his support of their decision to deny entry to Reps Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. You are an American. Your allegiance should be to America, not to a foreign power. You should be defending the right of Americans to travel to other countries. If you don't understand that, then you need to resign, Liu tweeted. Oh! That's one of those statements you just don't want to make, Ted. What are you doing, my brother? Well, not my brother. An accusation of dual loyalty is a classic anti-Semitic canard, which has previously been employed by Omar. Oh, yeah, didn't we? I kind of just said that, didn't I? In February, she said she wanted to talk about the political influence in this country that says it's okay for people to push for allegiance to a foreign country. And then Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu explained that his government denied the Congresswoman's request to enter Israel because their sole objective was to deny the country's legitimacy. And that's what they do. They, you know what, particularly Tlaib, she denies the right of Israel to exist in many ways. Now, granted, I think she tries to be a little more diplomatic about what she says, but she is very, very much against the state of Israel, which as an American is absolutely your prerogative. She is allowed her opinion. She's allowed to speak out about it. She's allowed to do whatever she wants to about it, because that's how we are. We're Americans. We are allowed to have different opinions, and we're allowed to express those different opinions. However, like the left likes to tell you all the time, just because you're allowed to express your opinions doesn't mean there won't be any consequences. And so the consequences of her opinions and her statements is Israel said, piss off. But now Israel's saying that they will let her in. So I don't know. They're letting her in to go see her grandmother, and good for Israel. And now apparently she says she's not going to go. So let's move on. That's enough. Oh, by the way, here's the other story about Ted Lieu. Ted Lieu deletes one anti-Semitic tweet, but leaves others up. Representative Ted Lieu deleted a tweet Thursday in which he accused U.S. Ambassador to Israel David Friedman of dual loyalty. So he already deleted the tweet. The same anti-Semitic theme used in the past by Representative Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib. So here's the tweet he put up. It has been brought to my attention that... Oh, no, here it is. Here it is. It's been brought to my attention that my prior tweet to U.S. Ambassador of Israel raises dual loyalty allegations that have historically caused harm to the Jewish community. That is a legitimate concern. I am therefore deleting the tweet. Notice what he didn't do there. Notice what he didn't do there. He didn't apologize. Wow. In addition, Lieu left up several tweets making the same accusation against several Republican legislators and using the dual loyalty slur in praising Representative Justin Amash for criticizing Israel's decision. Hey, Representative Brooks, a reminder that you're an American member of Congress. Your allegiance should be to America. We are Americans first. Wait a minute. Wait one effing minute. Is it just me, or does the term America first connotate racism? Isn't that why they don't like when Trump says America first? And yet Ted Lieu right there in black and white on the Twitter handle there thing. We are Americans first? Uh-oh. You might have some splaining to do, Ted Lieu. You should be defending the rights of Americans to travel to other countries. Get it? Yeah. Hey, Ted Lieu, I got a question for you. Here's my question for you, Ted Lieu. Can we just go ahead and send your ass to North Korea? Because you should have the right to travel to other countries. Do you think North Korea is going to let you in, Ted? Just asking, brother. Just asking. Oh, thank you. I forgot the ding. Good morning, Longfish. Good morning, Max Del Rio. Good morning, Straight Sith Mail. Good morning, Damn It, Chadwick, and Johnny Hellcat. I am happy you all are here. By the way, let me just do a little aside here before we move on. This is very important to me. This is my 135th show of the Morning Night Live, and I just wanted to give a sincere thank you to all of you who take the time just to hang out with us, maybe spend time in the chat, or even if you just lurk in the background sometimes because you're working or whatever. It is a great honor for me that you folks spend this time with me. And I just want to let you know that I really, really appreciate the support that I get from all of you, and the goodwill. And a lot of you send stuff to me on Twitter and things, and spend time here listening. I hope you have fun in the chat. But I want you to I do want you to know that I appreciate you so much. It is absolutely an honor that you spend time with me on the weekdays in the morning. So thank you. I tip my cup of reparations coffee to you, and cheers. So, all right, moving on. Let's go. What's the next one here? Oh, man. So, the other day there's this shootout in Philadelphia, and it seems like that perhaps wasn't the only thing going on that day in Philadelphia, because, hang on, I clicked the wrong button there, because 5 people were shot in Philadelphia on the same street as the police shootout. Apparently this is not one of the more what I would say gentle neighborhoods in Philadelphia. Multiple people were shot in Philadelphia, just a couple miles away from the shootout that wounded 6 police officers on Wednesday. Police said that 4 men and a teenage boy were injured Thursday in a shooting on the same street in the Nicetown, Tioga neighborhood as yesterday's mass shooting. They're still calling it a mass shooting. Interesting. The 5 victims were sent to the local hospital with non-fatal injuries. Police Commissioner Richard Ross said the shooting was likely gang-related. There were some chairs up about a block and a half, leading us to believe the individuals, the victims, were probably seated when they were targeted. Detectives have opened an investigation into the cause of the shooting, but no arrests have been made. 6 Philadelphia police officers were shot Wednesday in a 7-hour standoff with the alleged gunman, 36-year-old Maurice Hill. And notice, I just, maybe I haven't really looked. Has anyone noticed whether or not any of the major news media has been dwelling on Mr. Maurice Hill since that happened? Now, granted, it was just 2 days ago, because this is from yesterday, so it was just 2 days ago that happened. But are you hearing much on it about the news? I'm just curious how much time they will spend on that particular case this weekend on the Sunday Mockingbird media shows. I'm going to guess they don't even mention this one, other than mentioning that 5 police officers were shot. And I'll bet you, here's my prediction. They're going to do something. They're on the weekend, the Sunday news shows, the commentary shows they do every Sunday. You're going to get some people talking about gun control. And what they will do is 95% of the talk will center around El Paso, white supremacy, and right-wing, terrorists, so to speak. And the Dayton shooting and the shooting in the 5 police officers here will get just a little glossy, tiny mention, but won't be talked about. They'll talk about mostly El Paso. They might talk about the one in California at that garlic festival. It was a garlic festival, I think? Yeah, something like that. The Gilroy Garlic Fest, whatever. But I bet you they'll spend most of their time focusing on El Paso. In fact, I bet you they'll have an official from El Paso on there. I bet you they do. Anyway, that's my prediction for the weekend. Anyway, but yeah, so this part of Philly is not exactly the most safe place on the earth. But you know what? I bet the only place you'll hear about this shot on the same street will be this Washington Examiner article, which is probably the only place you hear about it. All right, let's move on. Let's see. Trump says you have no choice but to vote for me at the New Hampshire rally. Okay, yeah, Trump had a rally in New Hampshire last night. They said they had about 10,000 people. There were some empty seats up in the rafters, I noticed. Oh, don't mind. Let me pause him. Now, of course, this is a Hill article, so it's probably not a Trump-friendly article, but it'll be interesting to read. So let's just talk about his New Hampshire rally. So anyway, I'm saying they had about 10,000 people inside the building, and apparently someone said there was about 4,000 to 5,000 people outside that they didn't let in. I don't really know. Let's just put this in. Maybe this is not a fair contrast, but for example, Elizabeth Warren had a rally or an event in New Hampshire yesterday, and they had about between 500 and 700 people at it. Now, granted, there are so many people going into New Hampshire from the Democratic side that you're not going to get tons of people for any one person, except maybe Bernie Sanders would be able to draw a crowd up there because he's from that area of the country. But so it's not necessarily a fair comparison. Trump obviously is right now the lone wolf in the Republican Party. He always already attracts thousands of people to his rally, and so pretty much anyone who's going to go see a presidential candidate for the Republicans are going to go see him. So it's not a fair comparison, but it's just an interesting note. Anyway, President Trump said at a rally on Thursday, Americans have no choice but to vote for him, warning that everything would be down the tubes if he does not win re-election in 2020. The president made the statement while hailing the economy's performance during his tenure in the White House, claiming that the U.S. has the best economy in the world right now. He later predicted that the markets would crash if he were to lose in the 2020 election to the Democratic presidential nominee. Now that's a remember the other day when people were all up in arms because the stock market dropped 800 points, which is 3% or whatever. And I got in a Twitter fight with some people about that because the hashtag Trump recession was trending because of a one-day drop in the stock market. Now, I remember about 3 or 4 months ago, there was a 400-point drop in the stock market, and that Trump recession tag started coming up, and I started laughing at people. I'm like, what the are you, the F, what the F are you talking about? Because the stock market has nothing to do with whether or not we're in a recession, right? And the very next day, after a 400-point drop, it went back up like 500 points. So it was up 100 between the 2 days. So I got into this thing the other day when there's the Trump recession was trending because the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 800 points. Well, people were losing it. The Trump recession hashtag was like number 2 or number 1. And like David Frum wrote this just ridiculous tweet about how, Trump came in with a booming Obama economy, and now we're in a severe recession. Okay, look here, David Frum, you moron. First of all, a one-day drop in the stock market does not a recession make. In fact, since Trump's been president, we've had extraordinary economic growth compared to the prior 8 years. Now, do I admit Obama's economy slowly grew steadily after about the third year of his presidency? Well, yes, it did, because, or it was the third year? Maybe it was even the first or second year. I mean, it actually, am I Beto drunk? Am I doing my Beto impression right now? Anyway, So yes, the economy slowly grew during the Obama administration. Anemic growth during his presidency. And then almost as soon as Trump made some little changes, tax code, this and that, regulations, whatever, boom, we're back up into 3% growth, 3.5% growth, averaging through the Trump administration. That is extraordinary growth compared to before. And in fact, it was David Krugman from the New York Times who said, if Trump is elected, the economy is going to tank. That was remember how people like to run scare tactics? I told you, they're always talking about how the Republicans work off hate and fear. And yet, if you really listen to Democrats, they hate people who don't agree with them. And they constantly use fear to try to get you to not vote for them. So when Paul Krugman's saying, Paul Krugman, this is the lead economist for the New York Times. Paul Krugman warned us that if Trump is elected, the economy, I'm going to paraphrase, the economy would go right into the shitter. Isn't that some nice paraphrasing? So anyway, and when you have a sustained period of economic growth, first of all, a recession is considered 2 quarters of negative growth. Okay, so when not positive growth, but negative growth, and we've had a pretty steady rise of positive growth throughout the Trump presidency, and it, not negative. And when I say negative growth, actually contraction. Okay, and clearly we have not had that. In fact, we've had pretty remarkable growth. It's really surprised me, even someone who used to spend a lot of time looking at economic numbers, at how well the economy is doing, and especially with unemployment. Now we do have a slight deficit of employees, and we definitely have a deficit, as in spending problem. But even with, and maybe that'll be remedied by the fact that so many people are working, and so the tax rolls are really starting to reflect that. In fact, the revenues are way up, okay, because of all the employment, all the people employed, and the tax revenues are coming in from that. But the problem is the spending is also out of control, and so I wish now I'm as a conservative, which I'm embracing that label right now. As a conservative, we absolutely need to get the spending under control. I wish someone came up, I can't remember which politician it was who was running for president, but he called it the penny plan, where every department of government, the federal government, needs to reduce their spending by 1%, period. Figure it out. Figure out how you're going to lower your spending by 1%. And I mean everybody. I mean the military. I mean the entitlements. I mean everything that the federal government does. Now, it's going to be hard with entitlements because, especially with the old aging population that we have right now, Social Security, there's more people on it. So I don't know how you would do it with the entitlements. But there's enough waste in government that you could do it. It's just that what they do is, you budget something, and if you're not getting an increase your budget, if you're not getting an increase in your budget, the morons in the government and the politicians are saying you're getting a cut. Even if a lot of times they'll say, okay, so we get a 3% increase every year. This year we're only getting a 2% increase. Why are you cutting our budget? Hey, morons, we're not cutting your budget. Your budget increased by 2%, but we're supposed to get a 3% increase, so you cut our budget. No, we didn't cut your budget. No, but we were supposed to get a 3% increase. We only got a 2% increase. Why did you cut our budget? Hey, I do want you to cut your budget. I want everyone to cut their budget by 1%. I want everyone to get 1% less from the federal government for 5 years straight. You think that would take care of the deficit? Boom, it would. Okay, figure it out. Let the states, in fact, I don't mind giving taxes to my local government, because I know if I give taxes to my local government, my street out here doesn't have potholes, which my streets don't have potholes because we have the taxes in Minnesota. One thing we do well in Minnesota is we keep the streets good, but I think that might be a snow state thing. Maybe no, it's not. It's not a snow state thing. I've driven in Michigan. It's not a snow states thing, but for some reason here we have great roads. I always laugh because people bitch about the roads, the infrastructure is crumbling. Our crumbling infrastructure. Now, we did have a bridge in Minnesota collapse a few years ago. Here, I'm moving this off. Since I'm ranting, I'm going to put myself back on the screen. We did have a bridge collapse here in Minnesota not too long ago. It's been about 10 years now. And that was a structural problem, though. That was a design problem, and that they didn't figure out till the bridge collapsed. But the crumbling infrastructure. I drive all over the country. Now I'm going to put this way. I was shocked. I mean shocked when we were in our trip from Portland to San Diego and then to Vegas. I was shocked at how bad the roads were. Not necessarily the highways. The highways were fine. I think the federal government takes care of the highways, but the roads in some of the cities that we went through, especially in the Los Angeles area, how just crappy some of the roads were. And I was like, what? But again, California spends a lot of money on other shit. Anyway, as a conservative, I want the federal government to lower their spending. Let's actually do something about the deficit. The other thing people always point out, and they always put these graphics up, trying to blame the deficit on one party or the other, and they always bring up Clinton because Clinton balanced the budget. He actually had a surplus. It always seems like, and they always say, "Oh, this Republican president, we had a deficit." Actually, you know what you should look at when you look at that kind of stuff? Look at who is controlling Congress during that time. Okay? Bill Clinton came into office on a recession that had already ended after George H.W. Bush, because the recession ended before Inauguration Day. That's just history. But what happened 2 years into Clinton's presidency? For the first time ever, Republicans took over the House of Representatives. And the Senate was pretty close. It wasn't Republican controlled, but it was the Republicans took over the House. Who controls the purse strings of the United States of America? Who writes those bills? Where the spending bills all have to go through? The House of Representatives. The Republican House stayed in power almost for the rest of the Clinton presidency. And Clinton made a very, very good strategic move in that he cooperated with, and they went back and forth and he worked with the Republican House, and he passed the budgets they wrote for the most time. He asked for some things out of there, but whatever, the Republicans ran the country during that surplus. I mean, as far as the budget, now, they didn't run anything else, but no, I'm not going to make jokes about Bill Clinton. So, you know what? I fully on board, even though I didn't really agree with Bill Clinton a whole lot of things. The one smart thing he did is he didn't fight too hard against Republican budgets. Okay, now let's take George W. Bush, for example. George W. Bush came into office, and obviously we had the recession after 9/11. We had all that what's the word? Just the political and social turmoil after 9/11, economic turmoil. And that got turned around. It was becoming turned around, and the country's back on track. But what happened in the middle of the Bush presidency? The Democrats took over the House of Representatives. And what happened towards the end of the Bush presidency? Oh, we had the housing crisis, the whole economic collapse. Fascinating. It was who holds the purse strings in the United States of America? The House of Representatives. So anytime someone says, "Oh, well, look at the surplus that Bill Clinton had, and then you had, this president did this president," they say that about the Reagan presidency too. Oh, we had all these deficits. Well, we had the deficits during the Reagan era is because Reagan cooperated with Tip O'Neill, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. The Reagan deficits were not because we didn't have more revenue. We had plenty more revenue, but Reagan did make the mistake of compromising on budgets with Tip O'Neill. They were in fact, it was a whole different thing. I mean, they were, if you don't remember the politics of the 80s, I mean, it was, let's put it this way. Reagan and Tip O'Neill could butt heads. They could butt heads about everything, but Reagan and Tip O'Neill could go out and have a beer afterwards. I could never see. Well, first of all, Trump doesn't drink anyway. But could you imagine, after all the shit that they talk shit to each other about, that Nancy Pelosi and Donald Trump going and having a beer afterwards? That would be a sight to see. Perhaps maybe it would be more appropriate if Elizabeth Warren would go have a beer with Donald Trump, because she's really good at opening a beer and drinking it during a live stream. Oh my God. So anyway, all right, here's my take on this. And I know I kind of got away from this article on Trump, what he said. So Trump said at a campaign rally on Thursday, Americans have no choice but to vote for him, warning that everything would be down the tubes if he does not win election in 2020. The bottom line is, I know you like me, and this room is a love fest. I know that, but you have no choice but to vote for me, because your 401ks down the tubes. Everything's going to be down the tubes, Trump said while speaking in Manchester, New Hampshire. Here's, it's like someone the other day, they were talking to their not liberal friend, but kind of undecided friend. And they said, well, you can vote for Trump or you can vote for socialism. And the person thought about it and thought, oh, that's a fascinating choice. This happened before. It's not the first time that you've had kind of this real kind of more leftish leaning Democratic Party that you get the feeling that they're going to try to nominate, if it's not Joe Biden, they're going to try to nominate either Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren, who are very far left. This has happened before. An unpopular Republican president went up against a very left-wing candidate. Remember? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Tell it. I'm gonna let you put it in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Who was it when they well, it happened twice actually I can think of, but the one I'm thinking of. Well, I'll just tell you what I'm thinking of. Nixon and McGovern. Nixon in '72. Running against George McGovern, liberal versus leftist. Leftist, excuse me, not liberal. Leftist. Liberal's a different thing depending on where you live in the world. So let's say leftist. Okay, George McGovern was just way out there on the left, and Richard Nixon was not so popular. He already had the nickname Tricky Dick. All right. But in the 1972 presidential race, Richard Nixon was put up against a leftist. And the leftist, George McGovern, got blown out. I think Nixon won. Did Nixon win all 50 states? No, Nixon won all 50 states. Or did he? I can't remember. Oh, no, I'm thinking Reagan. Reagan Carter. Reagan won 49 states against Carter Mondale. But anyway, all right. Anyway, here we go. Hey, Diesel Dave, how you doing? Good to see you. Nice. And I said hi to Dick Trainer. All right, let's move on. Joe Biden, the gaffe master. Apparently, his allies float scaling back events to limit his gaffes. Joe's had some problems on the campaign trail. Allies to Joe Biden have been floating the idea of altering the former vice president's schedule in an effort to reduce gaffes that he has made in recent days. The allies, growing increasingly nervous about Biden's verbal flubs. Hey, wait, hold up. I'm going to stop right here. As if we didn't know that Joe Biden was prone to verbal flubs. I mean, that is just... If you didn't know that before he started running for president, hell, he was prone to verbal flubs. Verbal flubs. During the Obama run for president, when he was running for vice president. Okay? Obama's the first candidate who's, articulate and clean. You don't say that about a black man. Biden has a tendency to make the blunders late in the day. His allies say, they're giving him the tired old man excuse. Particularly after a long swing on the road, like he had last week in Iowa. They say something needs to be done to give the candidate more downtime as the campaign intensifies in the fall. Well, they kind of had to do that with Hillary Clinton too, didn't they? When Hillary Clinton couldn't make it through a day without fainting or something like that. But they were making excuses for her. Although at least Hillary Clinton, I don't know if she necessarily she didn't have the verbal flubs. I mean, she really didn't lose it articulately. Nobody liked her. That was her problem. He needs to be a strong force in the campaign trail, but he also has to pace himself. Said, boy, you know what? Are they doing him any favors? Are they doing him any favors whatsoever with this language? He needs to be a strong force in the campaign, but he also has to pace himself. They're just making him sound like an old man. He's 3 years older than Trump. Said one ally who has talked to members of the campaign team and others in the broader Biden world about how to move forward. The ally said it was unclear whether the campaign would make any changes to Biden's schedule, particularly because Biden was criticized recently for not doing as many events as his Democratic rivals. Well, you know what? When you're the front runner, you don't necessarily have to do as many events as your rivals, and sometimes you can get away with saying less and not taking chances. Now, it's a safe, that safe strategy doesn't always work because sometimes you have to be able to at least respond to what your opponents are saying, but he has the benefit of the front runner. However, them talking about him needing to pace himself so he doesn't make gaffes. Oh my gosh, that's just not good. I think you'll see the same schedule, maybe even more Joe Biden, one ally said. Everyone wants to see Joe Biden be Joe Biden. No, you don't want to see Joe Biden be Joe Biden. He'll be sniffing little kids' hair and touching people weirdly and getting too close to people. We do not want to see Joe Biden be Joe Biden. I want to see less of Joe Biden and more of a presidential candidate. Anyway, he'll be 77 November. And it's been seen by some as a liability ever since he launched his campaign earlier this year. While he's been billed by those around him as the most electable Democrat to take on President Trump next year, some wonder if he has the zeal to compete. I never really get the impression that Trump really wants to do this. Some of his stuff, he just seems so laid back and so like, I'm kind of doing this, but I didn't really want to, but it's kind of, people want me to do it, and I suppose it'd be okay. I don't feel any fire from Joe Biden whatsoever. So, all right, let's move on. I'm not going to read the rest of this. Let's move on. Let's see. Here's another one. Democrats launch attack on Cuccinelli for out of context remark on immigration debate. They've been busting on this guy. Let's just listen to exactly what he said, okay? Because they've changed. They keep changing what he said, or at least they take this wildly out of context. So let me pop the music off for a second. Here it is.
Is yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of the teeming shore. Send these, the homeless tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. Wretched, poor refuse, right? That's what the poem says America's supposed to stand for. So what do you think America stands for?
Well, of course, that poem was referring back to people coming from Europe, where they had class-based societies, where people were considered wretched if they weren't in the right class. And it was written 1 year after the first federal public charge rule was written, that says, and I'll quote it, any person unable to take care of himself without becoming a public charge, unquote, would be inadmissible, or in the terms that my agency deals with, they can't do what's called adjusting status, getting a green card, becoming legal permanent residents. Same exact time, Aaron, same exact time. And the year it went on the Statue of Liberty, 1903, another federal law was passed expanding the elements of public charge by Congress. This is a...
Now, here's what they're doing here. Now, here's what the Democrats are doing, or everyone who... They want to make... They have to bring up this white supremacist angle. So listen to her first part of his answer. Here's what they're bitching about.
Refuse, right? That's what the poem says America's supposed to stand for. So what do you think America stands for?
Well, of course, that poem was referring back to people coming from Europe.
That's where they stop. What people are saying is that he's saying, well, that only applies to people coming from Europe. That's not what he was saying. He was explaining the context of the poem if you listen to the rest of what he says, which is this.
Where they had class-based societies, where people were considered wretched if they weren't in the right class. And it was written 1 year.
So he very clearly was talking about the context of the poem and what it meant to be the writer of the poem from Europe when they're talking about the different classes. It's almost like they had that very distinct class system, almost like a caste system in India, where if you were in this class, you were this. If you were poor, you were wretched. If you're this, their middle class is not like how we describe the middle class today. And I've seen something in the comment. It was a poem written in a contest in the 1800s. Yeah, it was. It's not part of any law. It's just a poem. Okay, and so he's explaining the contextual, the context of the time, what that meant. Okay, regardless of your class. But then also, like he said, it's the same year that they made a law where if you came to the United States, you had to be self-sufficient. They weren't going to give you anything. It was part of the thing. So
1 year after
this
the
law
first federal public charge rule was written, that says, and I'll quote it, any person unable to take care of himself without becoming a public charge, unquote, would be inadmissible.
Okay, so yeah, now, some Democrats have gone after Trump official Ken Cuccinelli for out-of-context remarks on immigration and the poem on the Statue of Liberty. Aaron Burdett asked Cuccinelli, acting director of Citizenship and Immigration Services, about the poem Tuesday and how it's pertained to immigration. Cuccinelli answered with his interpretation of the history behind the poem, and a shortened clip of his comments spread on Twitter. So here's the clip that is how they shortened it, the way I just showed you.
Is yearning to breathe free.
Oh.
Do you think America stands for?
So never mind.
Of course, that poem
this is the same one I did. Some on the left, including 2020 Democratic candidates Elizabeth Warren and Kamala Harris, went after Cuccinelli. I think the Statue of Liberty is weeping, former Secretary of State Madeleine Albright told CNN's Anderson Cooper Wednesday night. I've been a refugee twice, once from the Nazis, and we were in England, and then we came to the United States when the communists took over Czechoslovakia, she said. And I think that it's one of the most un-American things I've ever heard, because they cut it off. Let's see, is this... Oh, maybe they did do this.
Referring back to people coming from Europe, where they had class-based
Okay,
society.
so they didn't show where they cut it off. But Yeah. Oh my God. Unbelievable. This is just one more way in which Donald Trump and his folks want to make America work better and better and better for those at the top and kick dirt in everyone else's faces, Warren said, according to The Hill. New York. Oh, and of course, Ocasio jumps in. New York Democratic Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez asked everyone to double check their voter registration status. This man is acting director of Citizenship and Immigration Services. For the love of everyone, double check your voter registration status and register if you haven't. So yeah, and Harris, they're obviously they're taking it out of context. The full clip, Cuccinelli, was over a minute long and shows him explaining the history of the poem. Cuccinelli followed up his comment on people coming from Europe with an explanation about class-based societies, and that's what he did. So there, you know what? It's called quote mining. Okay, you're taking a quote that you can cut it off and take it wildly out of context. We do that to Ranting Monkey all the time. We joke with him about something he said, and you cut off the quote so it makes it sound like he was saying something else. It wasn't about that. That was only for Europeans. That's what they're trying to say, which is bullshit. They know what they're doing. If you listen to the entire quote, he was talking about the history of the poem and what the wretched were. The wretched were the poor. They were in a lower class in European society. So they were saying that, that we would take the wretched poor, but when they came here, they still had to be fucking self-sufficient. So anyway, stupid shit. Anyway, let's see. You know what? Do I have time to these? Nope. I got to get into Twitter trends. So anyway, I have some other articles, but we'll just get rid of them. Let's get into Twitter trends, everybody, because it's almost that time. Well, it is that time. It is that time. So, real quick though, to see how we're doing here. Looks like we're doing pretty good. Everyone's good. Everyone happy right now? Are you ready for a good weekend? Unfortunately, my weekend's gonna be. I'm really lost on yard work, and we gotta unfortunately clean out my father-in-law's apartment. As he's still in hospice care right now. We're not sure how much longer he'll last, but we got to take care of some family things this weekend. So, say a prayer especially for Lady Boomer, if you think about it. So, all right, let's move on to Twitter trends. Oh, I do have a message here. Dave sent me a photo. Let's see what it is. Nordic Cold. Oh, you're in Faribault, Cokato. Where is Cokato? You at that? Oh, that was that question about Cokato. Well, let's find out how close I am to Cokato. Oops, K-T-O. And let's see. Come on. Egan to Cokato. Oh, that's not showing me anything. What the hell? Oh, you know what I need to do? Here, let's see. I'll find out, Dave. How far is Egan, Minnesota to Kankado, Minnesota? Not Mankato. No. Cokato.
8 miles.
God damn it. How far from Egan, Minnesota to Cokato, Minnesota? Gosh darn it. What the hell? How far is it from Egan, Minnesota to Cokato, Minnesota? I am 63 miles from Cokato, Minnesota. Thank you, Diesel Dave, just in case you're wondering. All right. So that's not that far. I think it's got to be near Faribault. Yeah, Faribault Foods, Highway 12, Cokato, Minnesota. That's probably not that far, about an hour from here. At best, almost directly south. All right, let's get into Twitter trends. Today, number one. Oh, what the hell is this? Oh, no. There is an outpour. It's okay. There is an outpouring of love after sports journalist Nikki Bandini comes out as transgender. Okay. And apparently, but that's not the top tweet of the day. but okay, good for Nikki Bandini. Don't know who that is. I don't know. It's related to football somehow, though. All right, I'm going to take my chance here. Bandini, who covers European football and the NFL for The Guardian, previously wrote under the name Paolo. She opened up about her transition in a coming out video and an article on the Guardian website. Okay, good for her. Okay, great, good for her. Anyway, number one on trending today. Today is National Tell a Joke Day. And I was going to tell you a joke the other day. I don't tell a lot of jokes on here, but maybe you'll find this funny. And it's hard to tell because it's hard to tell jokes on a stream, and that especially when you're on a stream by yourself, because you sit back there and you tell the joke, but you don't know if the people in the stream find it funny. But I'm going to tell you a joke since it's National Joke Day. But I'm going to click on this first. Let's see, National Joke Day. Oh, it doesn't even say why it's National Joke Day. National Tell a Joke Day. 17 jokes to add to your repertoire for National Tell a Joke Day. I might actually click on that and tell a few jokes today. Two windmills are standing in a field. One asks the other, "What kind of music do you like?" The other one says, "I'm a big metal fan." What do you get when you cross Prince Andrew and Donald Trump? Murdered in your prison cell. Oh, that's not even... Now, come on. You know damn well who really should be in that joke. I'm just saying. Oh, but that's a conspiracy theory. Never mind. National Tell a Joke Day. Lamar Jackson is as good as Baker Mayfield. If you've been watching the NFL preseason so far, Lamar Jackson's having troubles. You know, the funny thing, and also Kyler, what's his name? Kyler, what's the dude from Oklahoma? Here's something that rookies in the NFL fail to realize until they get there. You may have been the greatest thing since sliced bread in college, but the NFL, just like going from high school to college, the NFL is like going from high school to college, but you're going from college to the NFL, where everybody's faster, everybody's stronger, because these take the best player on your team besides you, and everyone in the NFL is like that other best player. So, you know what? Rookies got to understand. They may not come in being Superman at first, but I got a feeling that some of these rookies the rookies usually settle in and figure out how it works, but it takes a while. Anyway. All right, so here's my joke, and I'm going to tell it. Oh, dude, that was wild. That was wild. Look at that. He jumps from one wheel to the other. That's some serious shit right there. All right, here's my joke. Okay, I told you I'd tell this joke, and I'll pull off of here right quick. So there was this old man, and he was going to a funeral, right? No, I'm sorry. He was walking down the street, and he noticed a funeral procession come by. Okay, and so the old man's looking at this funeral procession. It looks kind of weird because the funeral procession there was a hearse, okay, a hearse followed by a second hearse. There were two hearses, okay, hearse, second hearse, and then behind the second hearse there's this one older gentleman walking with a dog, and just walking his dog behind the two hearses, going slowly down the street, and then behind him about 30, 40 feet was a big, long, single file line of just men following the guy walking the dog behind the two hearses. And the guy in the corner is like, that's really strange. And so as the hearse gets to the corner, the guy, kind of walks up the street so he can talk to the man, and he says, "Hey, is this like an ethnic thing? This is a really unusual funeral. I've never seen anything like it before. What happened?" And so the man walking the dog says, "Well, my wife got attacked by my dog, and my dog killed my wife. It was really tragic accident." And the guy thinks about it for a second and said, well, what about the second hearse? And the guy with the dog says, "Well, my mother-in-law, when my dog was attacking my wife, my mother-in-law tried to intervene, and the dog killed her too. And so, that's, why we have two hearses. So the guy who came from the corner kind of thinks about it for a minute. He goes, huh. Can I borrow your dog? And the guy with the dog says, get in line. Oh, that's a terrible joke. I know it's a terrible joke. It's a terrible joke. All right. National Tele-Joke Day. I did my part on National Tele-Joke Day. Number 2 trending on Twitter is Free Code Friday, which I don't know. This is coming up a lot. Streamed this to win Free Code Friday. Why are we streaming this to win Free Code Friday? What is this? Is this something to do with... Oh, that's a K-pop band. No! I ain't doing it. Free Code Friday time. Read this and you could win a code for Remnant from the Ashes. What? I don't even understand Free Code Friday. If you understand Free Code Friday and want to win something, go on the Free Code Friday hashtag on Twitter and see if you can win something. I don't know what that means. Friday Thoughts is number 3. I'm going to skip it. Friday Feelings is number 4. I'm going to skip it. Wait, what the hell? Oh, here. So I didn't hit the show more yet. Number 5 trending is Friday Morning. I'm going to skip it. Rex Ryan is trending number 6. Isn't he the coach? Rex Ryan is incredible. Let's see. He has a 20. Okay, let's see what Rex Ryan says here.
It was Bobby Carpenter explaining that every year that he played in the NFL, he would have his toenails
Why are we doing this again?
before the season began, so they wouldn't just get smashed up, and then they would just sort of grow in at their own pace over the course of the year.
This is a morning show.
I understand that.
Okay,
Now, most
we
people
gotta
probably
quit
don't
talking
wanna
about
hear that.
feet and toenails while people are eating their Cheerios.
All right.
Well, let's not talk about feet.
Daniel Jones.
I was going to say, I almost said,
I can't stay for this. I can't
Would we have to go?
I don't know what the joke is here about feet, but everyone thought it was funny. Okay, I don't know. If anyone knows why the joke is about feet, I don't know. Anyway, all right, so Rex Ryan's trending for that joke. I suppose I should look that up and find out why that's funny. Thugga is trending number 7. That's a rapper who dropped a new album. Rashida Tlaib is trending, and I'm going to assume it's because, update, Israel Interior Minister said he received and granted a humanitarian request for Rashida Tlaib to enter the West Bank. Apparently she's not going to go, though. Tlaib, Sean Davis says, oh, here it is. When I won, it gave the Palestinian people hope that someone would finally speak the truth about the inhumane conditions. I can't allow the state of Israel to take away that light by humiliating me and use my love for my city to bow down to their oppressive and racist policies. Now, what is she's responding to herself. My city wanted... Oh, that's her city's her grandmother. My city wanted to pick figs with me. I broke down reading this, worry every single day after I won for my family's safety. My cousin was texting me which photo of Ilhan and they should put on a welcoming poster when I heard the news. I couldn't tell her because that's about when she got denied. So then, okay, so Tlaib, give me a visa so I can destroy your nation from within. Israel says no. Okay, can I at least have a humanitarian visa to visit my dear Graham? Pretty please, she needs me. Israel, sure, but no Nazi crap while you're here. Tlaib's, never mind. Okay, so she says, silencing me and treating me like a criminal is not what she wants for me. It would kill a piece of me. I've decided that visiting my grandmother under these oppressive conditions stands against everything I believe in, fighting against racism, oppression, and injustice. Okay, so they gave you the humanitarian pass. Oh, Rex Ryan has a foot fetish. Quentin Tarantino. Okay, I didn't know that. That's more than I care to know. I guess so. Here you have a Palestinian problem in fewer than 240 characters. Tlaib can't have everything she wants, so she prefers to have nothing. If she can't denounce Israel, she does not want to enjoy life. She will abandon the love of family to pursue her grudge. The peace is impossible. Thus, peace impossible. Yeah. So, and Mark Levin says this was entirely a stunt by Tlaib. Representative Tlaib just tweeted that she won't be coming to Israel. Just yesterday, she sent me a letter asking to visit her 90-year-old grandmother, saying it might be my last chance to meet her. So they approved the request, and then she says she's not going to. This is a stunt now. Her not going just says that a lot of people are dragging her for hating Israel. I tend to I don't like her playing politics with her grandmother. That's the thing. But the Lord, oh God, what's this going to be about? My flesh and heart fail, but the Lord is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. God bless America, but the Lord said, hold up, thou elected an adulterous heathen liar yet. I don't think so. Did Trump say something about but the Lord? Oh my God, that's what it is. This should be said at the opening of every Trump rally. But the Lord, click my profile, get my book. I don't know why this is trending. Did he say something about but the Lord? He must have said something about but the Lord at the Trump rally. For all the Trump-loving Christians who have turned Trump into your God, nobody's turned him into your God. He's our president. He's just a man. He's just a man. And, oh my God. Family members ask if I'm bi, and I say yes. And they have the nerve to say, but the Lord. Okay, I just don't know. But the Lord. Okay, where I don't even know what it's from. It's trending for whatever reason. Anyway, okay, don't know why. Oh God, here we go. Hey Zoom, how you doing? I just saw you pop in. All right, Good Friday. That's Sino Allegra is trending. Okay, some musician, I think. New album. Don't care. Boycott Mulan. Whoa! What? Boycott Mulan. Protesters call for live-action Mulan boycott after actors' show of support for Hong Kong police. Oh, wow. Protesters are calling for a boycott against the live-action Mulan after film's lead actor Liu Yifei voiced her support for Hong Kong police. Disney's Mulan faces a boycott. Oh my goodness. Well, that's something. Last year, Chinese government made Fan Bingbing disappear off the face of the earth for months. Now her life, personally and professionally, continues to unravel. Chinese government is not a normal government. You don't know what they might be capable of doing to Yifei and her family. That's and you know what my guess is because she is from Hong Kong, and yeah, I mean I'm not sure that she's showed that support out of fear or what, but after checking out why Boycott Mulan is trending and processing the fact that Liu Yifei can't even respect basic human rights and democracy and is in favor of police brutality. All right, so everyone's dragging her. Oh, that's too bad. You don't understand the politics of that area, and if her family could be in danger, that could be possibly because of that. I don't know. Who knows if she really believes that or not. If Mom ran Twitter, number 13, there'd be a lot less tweets, because if you can't say anything nice, don't say it at all. Perfect. If Mom ran Twitter, bad little boys wouldn't get to play with their toys, and no tweeting either. Oh, isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? Ah, something anti-Trump. How stunning and brave. If Mom ran Twitter, you'd have to clean up your bio every week. If Mom ran Twitter, all your porn tweets would be in the trash. If Mom ran Twitter, did you brush your teeth? No. Get out. All right, so lots of funny if your mom ran Twitter tweets. Last one we're going to look at today is Flashback Friday. And since I skipped all the Fridays, let's do a quick Flashback Friday. Just 38 days till the first official day of practice. But for now, a little Flashback Friday from WAC Tournament. So they're talking about whack basketball. Oh, Texas Aggies. Okay, so these are Texas Aggie fans. They deserve a little flashback Friday. There's the Champions League. Oh, this is that same one from yesterday, isn't it? Oh, nope, that's a header into the goal. All right. Flashback Friday, the victory that broke many friendships and created many enemies for Mamelodi Sundowns Football Club, South Africa. Okay, everyone's talking about basketball and soccer. Oh, there's a football one. Everyone's talking using their Flashback Fridays for sports except for this one. 3 months ago, Representative Presley and other members spoke out on the House floor in support of the Equality Act, and it passed the House the following day. We're still waiting for the Senate, led by Senate Majority Leader, to pass this critical civil rights legislation. Yeah, whatever. Okay. That's your flashback. Here's a cute one. Before I got my girly bits removed, it was so nice and twim. It looks like I had a big head for my body, but it just the angle. It's a big-headed pup fur. All right, we're going to end that on that. Hey, everybody, I appreciate y'all being here today, but I'm so glad we had this time together. Oh, there's a video. Go watch, if you know who most of you know who Drunken Uncle is. He has a video on this really stupid ad or public service announcement or something. About a bunch of comedians talking about equality, a bunch of very wealthy comedians talking about equality. Go watch that video. It's a pretty funny video, but it also kind of takes the wind out of the sail of this. Well, here's what we'll do. If you happen to watch the video, ask yourself this question throughout the video. What are they asking for? Okay, just have a laugh and sing a song. Ask what they're asking for, and that's my hint for watching Drunken Uncle's latest video. That's it for today, though. We gotta go. I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, 2 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to the weekend. What else? Don't forget to shout out. Oh yeah. Don't go over to Blind Press's stream. Oh, hi Irish Rose. I didn't know you're here. I know you kind of lurk most of the time. That's cool. And also, go check out Blind Press. In fact, put a link. Somebody, Pete or somebody here. I'll do this myself. I'll put a link to her thing here. Where's my notifications? It should be here. Here we go. Blind Press. I'm going to put the link to Blind Press's stream, which will be coming up in about 15 minutes or so. Go check her out today. And that's it for me. I appreciate you being here. If you haven't done so already, hit the like button. If you came late and watched the rest of the stream later, please share it out on social media. I didn't put too many links out here today. And in the future, if you want to do super chats during my stream, they're done through the Streamlabs link in the description down below. We also do all their donations through Streamlabs. Appreciate all of you who've been able to donate in the past. That's great. But always obviously very optional. I'm here Monday through Friday, either way. So thank you so much for being here. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the Dawg Knight channel. Before you go, if you like what you saw and you're not already subscribed, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below, and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central, and 2 p.m. GMT. A special thanks to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through our Streamlabs link in the description below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.